Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, and perhaps even good evening. Wonderful to see you all. Mr. Brian is here, and thank you so much for dropping by Just Music. I appreciate that you learned so much from my tutorials. That's what counts. I'm really glad it helped. It's been a while since I've streamed some 3D Shenanigans, so I thought, today I'm not really in the mood for a game. I mean, I'm always in the mood for a game, really, but I thought maybe we can go and get the day started, good morning, Jeremy, with something that I've learned pretty much this week, namely Substance Painter. It is one of those hidden gems of... you really want to get into it because that is such a cool tool to make textures and paint surfaces, and I've had it for 6 months or so, and haven't really had the chance to delve into it until last week and this week, and especially yesterday I did a tutorial that was on the Substance website and in which I followed this exciting thing here. Let's see if we can bring it up. Also some music first. Let's go music first before I show you the exciting. Let's do this. Music, come on. Is this music? Can we hear something also? Can we hear it? Yes, there we go. I can hear something. Hope it's not too loud, too quiet. We'll see. Oh, that doesn't look good. There we go. So this is what I've made yesterday here. These are some roller skates or roller blades that came with the Substance tutorial, and I've painted all these textures here, and that was just so much fun. And I thought, maybe I can apply what I've learned to some clothing that that Mr. Chris has made. So I thought maybe we can do that. Let me show you a turntable actually that I've made here, and then you can see this from all angles. This is just so cool. Repeat, there we go. So I've painted the dirt on the wheels in several layers and with symmetry as well. I've painted the stitching just with the freehand brush. I've applied all the materials. I've masked several pieces off, and I've added these decals there on the side. And that just looks so cool. I'm super proud of it because it's one of those things. It's just, I never got it. Riverthorn, wonderful to see you. How you doing? Thank you so much for signing up on Patreon. This is wonderful to see you on the server as well. Wonderful. Yeah, so Substance, as you said, it's one of those tools that is important, and I think this is the only way to make, or tools like that are now the only way to make really good looking materials, because doing it just with Photoshop and trying to match bits and pieces in the 3D window, it's just not really working out. And considering what a wonderful job they've done integrating so many known Photoshop features into Substance, I thought, I'll have a crack at it. I need all the practice that I can get. So please help me out. Those of you who have experience with Substance, please, let's chip in and see what we can do. I was thinking I'm going to go and make, I'm going to take 2 items from Mr. Chris. Chris usually drops by, so let me bring up a couple of items, one of which I've bought this morning from his Ko-fi store. They're also available on Renderosity. This is Chris's store, and he models clothing items on stream. So he has, if you type an exclamation mark Chris Brian, then you'll bring up a little shout out for Mr. Chris, which is always nice. And he has a little shop on Ko-fi, which he sells these bits and pieces that he's made. Sorry, a bunch of socks here. This was during Halloween. These are some shoes. This is a dress that is completely devoid of texture, so I thought we could have a crack at that. And then there's these stream strap heels there. These kind of reminded me a little bit of the roller blades, and I thought I'm going to go and take those and try to add some textures to that, and then also have a crack at this dress here, because it doesn't really have anything on it right now. Let's see if we can make it happen. So I've downloaded these things. I'm going to go and prepare a little folder and then map that into DAZ Studio so that we can export the object as an OBJ, and then we'll bring it into Substance Painter and see what fun we can have. And that's the plan anyway. It might go horribly wrong. These are the 2 items here. Oh, also let me go and put my little pointer focus thing on. That means you can see the cursor a little bit better. At least that's the plan. There's this one here. That's this runtime. That is, I'm not sure what that is. That's the dress. Perfect. Let's go and turn that into its own folder and call it Simple Dress. All of that. Oh, come on. Windows. Come on. This is Simple Dress. I'm going to make another folder that is called Strap Pumps. And that is probably the other item. Wendy, how long have you been using the Substance Painter then? I know Brian's had it for a while and he's had lots of fun with it. Brian's kind of the one who got me onto this, aka Zero Kelvin, in case you didn't know one another. Wendy is Riverthorn, Brian is Zero Kelvin, sorry. Yeah, how long have you guys been using Substance? I know Chris doesn't use Substance, but he's married to Adobe, so it could be that, you know, we whet his appetite. I might go put these into the Substance folder here. On my Dropbox, pop that in here, and now that they're there, we can go and get rid of that. Now let's go and map those runtimes into Dash Studio, and then we can see what the current clothing item looks like, and then we can have a lot of fun with it. That's the plan. Yes, Substance. I've held off so long for buying it. And the first time I tried it was actually 3 years ago or so, when it was owned by Substance, and it was in version 1.0. Hey, that's okay. This is a folder. I don't think we need that anymore. This was the Halloween stream I did for Dash, so I'll remove that directory. I think also this needs to be remapped. This is the one that didn't quite work. This we need to leave on here. We'll add base directory. Substance. Simple dress. There we go. Number 1, and the other one. Strap pumps. Let's look at those first. Strap pumps. They're probably under template, under people, Genesis 8 female clothing, Seacocks, stream strap heels is what he calls it. Those are the items that are in there. And they look really nice. So they are heels 4, then we have the heels, just the buckles, the heels, the paws, and then that. So I think if I go and load this without a figure, see what that looks like. Currently not with a pole, so let's add that to it. Boom, there we go. Nice. And so he's made it so that we have shaders here, mainly. So they're not really material presets, they're just shaders, and you can apply those to any of the surfaces here. And I thought, you know, a decent bunch of material presets might be nice, including Chris's logo, perhaps on the sole, or on a place like this. See if I can find Chris's logo. It'll be good to do that. Oh, use my own logo. That'd be mean. No, I want to use Chris's logo for that. So there's a trick. I remember Travis David showed this on one of his videos, that when you export something, but that's basically the Genesis figure, so that's not applicable to the clothing items. But if you wanted to import a Genesis figure and paint on the figure, you have to export it without surfaces, without texture, so that otherwise you get so many, you can't paint across seams essentially. So I don't know what I need to do here. I'm going to call this one OBJs just for now, and I will call it strap pumps. There we go. Only a couple of years, okay. Yes, I just, you know, the amazement that I had as well, that you just drag and drop a material and you think, oh my god, it's like half shiny plastic with scuffs already on there. That's crazy. And it's just so much fun. I think that's what resonates with me, that there's just so much fun to be had with this. So I'm gonna not use that. This is that button, right surfaces disable. Other than that, I'm just going to use the regular Dash preset here and not write the surfaces, just in case that is necessary. I'll see how that comes into Substance. There is a benefit if you split all these pieces apart. So we'll see how this now arrives in Substance. And if it doesn't arrive well, then I'll import it into Blender first, split everything up, and then import it into Substance, just so that we can, you know, do bits and pieces there. Mr. Chris, there he is. This is the man I've been talking about. And Mr. Neville, wonderful to see you. Good morning, good evening, I should say. Good to see you all. Chris, I'm using 2 of your items today. I've bought the strap pumps from your coffee store this morning. and the plain white dress, and I thought maybe we can have some fun in Substance Painter and see, you know, if I remember what I've just learned there. So I'll bring these things in first. New project. Document resolution, let's make it 2K. And let's select the file that we've just popped in here. Strap pumps. I thought I'm going to make a texture set for the strap pumps and for your... No, I just said that, didn't I? And the white dress. Let's see. See if it actually works. Strap pumps number 1. Preserve Uvt Layout, I guess. Import cameras, auto unwrap we don't need. And let's see what happens. And of course, new shortcut keys that I have to get used to. So that is, yes, that is one of those things. That does that, that does that, and that does that. I'm on a trackball, so that doesn't make it all that super easy. Only because of the location where I'm sitting. So this is that. That's nice. Can we now, if I add, oh, first of all, bake maps, that we need to do that, right? Bake mesh maps and not use ID. And that's it, I think. Was there something else we should disable? Because I can't remember. Can you? That's good to know. I'll just do that. Bake selected textures. See how that goes. So one thing that struck me yesterday when I did these roller blades is that masking bits and pieces off was just so super easy thanks to the fact that the object was split up into multiple parts. So that part I've already forgotten actually. How did that work? Did they say add a fill layer? This is a regular layer. Was it a fill layer? I think it was a fill layer. I think. And then you go onto the mask thing and you go and unmask everything. And then, yeah, you see now I can only really select one piece. So the cool thing that they showed yesterday in that tutorial is that you could literally hover over something like the heel or the sole or the straps, and they'd all be individual groups. So that's one thing I haven't quite figured out in Substance, how you would mask things off by material zone. So, that's an interesting one. Because that made it really easy then to go and basically select just the heel, and with that selected you can drop a smart material on it, and that's the heel sorted out, and then you can go and make modifications on it. But I don't seem to have that, so I wonder if I bring this shoe into Blender first. Oh, you use the ID map for that. So when I baked the map and I didn't bake the ID map, that was probably an issue, right? Shall we see if we can do that? Thank you. That's good to know. I wondered what the ID map was for. Let's see. Let's bake ID map. Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's see what happens now. So fill layer. That's good. And no, still doesn't work. I don't even know what the ID map does, to be really honest. Got my UV tiles here. I've got, that is the split view, so that is the actual tile here. But we don't really need to see that. And this is the only ID I have. So I wonder, let me try and split this out so that it works a little bit like what we had yesterday. Let's fire up Blender and see if I can just split up that OBJ. Oh, you need to make it by hand. I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to make it all as automated as I possibly can. So if I go and import the OBJ that I've just exported, let me see if that works. So yesterday, I should say that for full disclosure here, I have moved my Dropbox folder. This is why these things are now grayed out. I've just cleaned up my hard drives a little bit, moved things around. So let's go and find the new location of the Dropbox folder, namely that. And then I can go and add that to my favorites here. And to get rid of all these grayed out items, I need to do some serious cleanup. On one of the text files, kind of hidden. Strap pumps obj. Do that. Geometry, usually I leave these things switched off because I don't really like that, but I'm gonna go and split this up. Keep the vertex order here, polygroups as well. Let's see if that works. There we go. Now we have everything split up, which is usually a bit of a nuisance. But this might just be exactly what we need. Let me just try that out. Export that out again. I'm not going to worry too much about the scale today. Oop. And that was here, and that was here in OBJs. And let's make it the selection only with material groups and OBJ groups. Let's just put everything in there that we can possibly get, and I'll call that strap pumps split. Scale, if I leave it at 1, then it'll be 100 times too big, so I could just export it at 0.01. I might do that later. I'll just leave it on in this scale and see what happens. See how Substance Painter thinks about this. Ah, good point, Wendy. Good point. Let's go and try this out. So I wonder how they did that in the FBX file that that I got for this tutorial there then yesterday. So I'll choose this one, preserve Uvt layout. Let's see how that works, and we don't want to keep that. Okay, so far so good. Scale didn't seem to be an issue. I like it. I like it. So how did this work now? Fill layer, check. On the fill layer, click the mask icon, right? Do that. Control, select everything. And then we have, oh, same thing. Oh, that's not good, is it? It's definitely the split object that I've chosen. Well, that's pants then, isn't it? How am I going to select the regions by myself then? How do I do this manually? That's uncool. That's totally not what I wanted. I could experiment with other export formats as well. Just try and export it as an FBX, see if Substance Painter likes this better than OBJ. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? What are we going to do about that? On the fill layer, click on, yeah, that's where I am, exactly. That's where I am. And if I click, then I can select the whole portion, but I can't select a part of it. So how do I turn the heel into its own part? From a material zone, like in Dash Studio, we'd go and say, if we wanted to select something separate that we currently can't select, we can use the geometry editor and then just go ahead and under tool settings, we see all these exciting groups here. So I would imagine they should still be intact in Substance, right? So how do I even access those in Substance Painter? That's something that they didn't explain in the tutorial. So I should at least, even if I don't see the face groups, that's fine. I should see the surfaces, and I should be able to make selections based on that in Substance Painter, shouldn't I? So I've got the UV tiles here. Texture set settings. What's this? Is this good? Channel? No, that's not it. Mesh maps? No, that's not it either. Those are my layers. Huh. Glad we're working through this together. Not for the shoes, Brian. Exactly. For the shoes, there are no UDIM layers. That's just for the Genesis figure. They'd be there. Well, that has me completely stumped now. I don't even see the material. So material, that's the material. Where's the material list? It's gotta be around here somewhere. Yeah, that should even still be available on the unsplit object, right? If I just go to Blender quickly, just to emulate that on the previous, or even on this option here, we should not here. We should have. Let me go the unsplit option here. Let me go delete everything. Bring the unsplit initial strap pumps back, like this one here. And don't split this, but keep that. Just out of curiosity. Good point, exactly, Brian. That's what I want to check now. If I go and have a look at this, yeah, good point. There are no surfaces. Let us then export them once again. This time with surfaces. See if that works any better. Strap pumps with materials. Haha. Let's do that. This time with that. We probably don't even need any maps, but if we don't write the surfaces, then that can't really come out. So let's see if that works. Strap pumps with materials. Let's try that. I don't even know what document resolution does, but I thought being 2K is probably better. Discard. Okay, so far so good. Add fill layer. Go to this thing, and oh, okay, hello. What's happened here? Shoes have gone. Dang, brother, that's cool. That's because at the top here we now have our material zones. But they are now, so this is now a bit of a problem because now I won't be able to paint across seams. I mean, it might not be that big an issue, but I'd have to now select where I want to put something on and then make a layer based on that, so they're not combined as such. That is also an issue, isn't it? I mean, it's workable, but it's also difficult because I suppose. So what I'm saying is, with this type of thing here, I can probably close these down here, collapse them, give myself a little bit more room. Because I need to now select the surface first and then drop things on there. I can't just go and take this and drop it onto something, can I? No, I can't. Oh, I can. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I could do that. And then that did that. And I can put that on here. So now, I see. That works. That works. And then that can go on here, something like that. Okay, good. So that works. I do like that. Middle mouse button click works really well with the mouse, not with the trackball, if you've ever tried. I do have Zbrush, yes. Auto group by UV, then poly paint by polygroups. Export that map and use that as your ID map in Substance. Oh, Wendy, my goodness. That's interesting. And then that ID map will, oh, that's exciting. That is very exciting. Are you free to help me through this? Because with Zbrush, I do need some hand holding. It's polygroups. I'm familiar with the concept, but I frequently forget where the buttons are. So if you're up for this, I'm more than happy to try this out. If this is the answer to my puzzle, then yes, let's do it. And that does make sense. Would you then, as another question then, would you then recommend that I use this version of the shoes that I've just exported that do not have the maps but do have the surfaces? Shall I use that as a source object in ZBrush? Shall we do that? Excellent. Wendy, I appreciate that. Let's do this. Man, we're learning so much today. This is awesome. I love this about community collaborations. Somebody comes up with a harebrained idea and let's go, hey, let's just all work on this together. This is great. Chris is currently making more shoes, by the way. They start in Marvelous Designer, or Clothes 3D rather. That is very exciting. Okay, let me fire up Zbrush and then bring in these shoes, and then I'll see if I can find that that polygroup option. How exciting, Wendy! So, that was in Substance, strap pumps, OBJs, strap pumps with materials. Let's do that. Ooh, this mesh contains non-standard polygons, more than 4 sides. Would you like to split these polygons to set the symmetrical triangles or combination of quads and triangles? Ooh, okay, that's an interesting message. I don't think I've ever had that before. What do we want to do? Symmetrical triangles only? Is that going to be... Shall we do that? Neville, catch some sleep. No worries. Thank you for dropping by. Always wonderful to see you. I'm thinking maybe just symmetrical triangles. What's that gone? Yeah, it has n-gons. I didn't know that either. Chris, what happened? Do you know, I can do something else before I say yay or nay to this. I might just go and say triangles. I might, I'll just say, no, don't do anything. We're going to do something else. In Dash Studio, let's go triangulate the shoes in Dash Studio, first of all, and then bring that clean into Zbrush, because I don't know what magic Zbrush is gonna do. It's, yeah, that's true. I just that you know, I'd rather do it the way I know how to do it. So we go edit object, geometry, some squares in here, triangulate. Ka-ching. Oh, only the current geometry of the selected object will be converted. If a level of detail or alternate geometry exists, will not be converted. That's totally fine. The operation cannot be undone. That's cool. Let's do that. All right, perfect. Triangulate it. Let's go and export that. Strap pumps with materials. I'm just going to overwrite that. Already exists. Is good. Write surfaces but maps none. But, you know, congrats, Chris, for doing that. N-gons always trip us up, don't they? Ay, caramba, what is this? Oh yeah, there we go. That is why that little strap is in the middle. That was maybe that was something. Could just be 2 connected vertices or something. Let me go import the new version here. Hopefully without... still got the issue. So not even Dash Studio could work it out. I'll say symmetrical triangles. Would you like to remove all unused vertices? Yes, let's remove stuff. Imported mesh contains 3,685 unused 3D points which have been removed. Ay, caramba, really? Okay, let's draw this out. Oh, that is how did this? No, God. Interesting. Things you didn't expect. But hey, that's all fun and games. Let's go to the grouping by polygroups and see if we can work that out. Let me make polygroups visible first of all. Now, Wendy, where do we go for that? Is that in the polygroups menu, perchance? And then we say auto groups with UV. Is that what we say? Something certainly got scrambled. We won't look too closely at this. As long as we can figure out how to use ZBrush to make the ID map, so that I have a better experience in Substance Painter. Auto group with UVs. Have you done it? Are you working on it? I can't tell. Yeah, there we go. Now we've done it. Okay. Interesting. Let me go put a different matte cap on this. That is quite exciting. So now it's made literally every single strap here into an auto group. Hey, also good. I don't mind. We'll find out, shall we? Now, what do we do? I've got the poly groups. To get this out of ZBrush with the ID map. This is, I'm totally in the dark. Poly paint menu, got you. Poly paint, which is here. Poly paint from poly groups. Could do that. That's the one, right? I'm thinking. Nice. Looks much nicer. It just colors. We're good. We're okay. This is crazy. I'm learning a lot of good stuff. This is nice. Oh, yes, it could be the rigid follow node. Yes, yes, that could be. That could be. Then UV map, select 2K size. UV map, 2K size, check. And we hit create, I believe. Is that right? 2K is good for what we're doing. 2K is good. And I'm thinking create, right? Bites nails. I have a feeling we go with create. But I'm not going to do anything unless you tell me. It's like, not create, see? I'm glad I didn't do that. Didn't want to mess it up. Okay, okay, yes, we don't want to do that indeed. Oh, we need to now transfer the polypaint data to the maps, don't we? So I think we need to go back to the polypaint, to texture, that's the one, to the texture, and then create a new texture, right? I think that's what we need to do. Oh, texture map, good stuff. Texture map, yeah, no worries. And then we transfer the polypaint data to the texture. New from polypaint. I'm thinking, right? No, oh my goodness, let's not do that. Let's not do that. New from, what else could it be? From poly order, from masking, from UV map, from UV check. Vertex or poly order then. New from polypaint. New from polypaint, there we go, that's what I was thinking. That's what I thought. New from polypaint. I think I've done it. Oh, it's still working on it, okay. Sometimes I'm too impatient. I really appreciate all this help. I really like this. Ah, there we go. So now it's still working on something. So now we need to go and, if I remember correctly in ZBrush, I think do we clone the texture and then we can export it? I think that's how it works, isn't it? Clone brings it, makes it available in the lightbox thing from where we can then go and export it. I think it's done it. I think it's done it. I think it's done it. Is that what we do? The map got eaten. Oh no, that's uncool. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened here. Yes, I see what you mean. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. Do you know, I can always take the... I mean, I don't know if the rigid follow node was the problem, but we can always try and just take that off. Let me hide it and then just export the shoes. Maybe that'll make ZBrush understand this a little bit better. Should we try that? Just to avoid the stuff in the middle. I have a feeling Chris is correct about the rigid follow node. See if I can go and select that, if I can find it here somewhere. Buckle node, yeah. Those are the buckles. I think I might just go and not delete them. I'll just go and hide them here. That's on that shoe, just to see if that avoids the problem. Because that's just something that's kind of interesting, isn't it? What's happened there and why did it happen? They're much easier to select this and whoops, and I'm still zoomed. Oh no, there we go. So let me just go try this one more time. Repetition is what we need for this. It is like a puzzle, isn't it? And I like that we're all kind of tapping in the dark. And I mean, you do this professionally, content creation. That's just happening on another level. I mean, what you guys can do for products to be available in the shop. I mean, people like me, I just doodle around. I find it quite interesting to figure out all these puzzles. But if you do this commercially, then that means you need to have a workflow that works. And I can imagine that that's quite you know, difficult. Strap pumps without buckles. Let's just call it that. So I have the greatest respect for people like you. Maps none. Let's go accept this. And then try and bring this into ZBrush one more time. I'm never sure how to get things out of ZBrush, so I'll just go and make a new document maybe. You can tell I'm more like a ZBrush owner rather than a ZBrush user, which is fine. I've had it since 2013, and oh, there we go. That solved the problem. Not so much with the maps, but with the thing in the middle here. Let me see if I can remember what you told me. So on polygroups, let's auto group with UV. Let it do its thing. And under texture, I'll switch the texture off for now. So this is our previous map, that's the one that's bodged. This one is, these are just the polygroups. So if I now go and say, create new from polypaint, see what happens. It's working on it, I think. Is it? I can't tell. It certainly looks better on the map here. But also it looks like I've forgotten something. Polypaint. Polypaint from texture. Polypaint from polygroups. Duh. Do that. And then was it under texture map? Do we need to go and say new from polypaint? There we go. Now we've got it. That's the texture on. That does look indeed better. So the buckle has this time not destroyed this or ruined this. That's good. Hey, that is good. This is correct, right? Now we have the texture on, texture off. This is our texture. I think this is correct. Now, export that map. Indeed, yes. Puzzle number 49 this morning. It's not even 11 o'clock yet. I remember this was clone texture, I think. Might have been. And then take that out through Lightbox, I think. But do let me know. Clone texture. Here it is. And now to export this, did this work with the Lightbox or did this work with Spotlight? Or with the not Spotlight, with the texture tab. That texture. Export, how about that? How about it? Texture export. That should be that, right? Let's see. See if that works. Export. strap pump OBJs. Let's make a new folder here and call it textures. Funnily enough, and we're going to call this one strap pump with buckles ID. Ah, okay, can I do that? That's perfect. Oh, that's it. Okay, fine. And I'll just hit OK, right? I'm thinking. Let's just hit OK. So you say just here, just right click, and there's an export option. Perfect. As well as an import option. Perfect. So that's a nice tip. Thank you. Thank you. I've been learning ZBrush last week as well, just bits and pieces from it, for mainly for texture painting, what the Spotlight tool can do, and that's very nice. You know, while we're talking about ZBrush and its very cool features, I've noticed, so what I was trying is projecting a texture onto an object with Spotlight as well as Projection Master. No, not Projection Master. Zaplink, that's the one, and that worked really well between ZBrush and Photoshop, and I thought this is a really cool workflow doing it that way. How the 3D object basically gets turned into 2D, then can be amended, and then can be basically dropped back onto the 3D object. Super awesome workflow. But the issue that I had was that it only ever happened at screen resolution. It never happened, I couldn't make it work at higher resolutions, or anything higher than what the screen resolution would pick up. Do you know a way around that? Is that something we is that something that is doable in higher resolution than screen resolution without buying a 32K display? Because that would be a cheap workaround. So now that we have it, let's go back into Substance Painter. Let's go and grab ourselves the object without the buckle so that these things match. Select the file, straps without buckles. 2K document resolution. I'll leave all these things in place, I'm thinking, and hit OK. And discard whatever we've made there. Sorry about all the questions, by the way. So, now, the ID map. Should I have imported that right there with it? I think I should have, because that's probably easier. Yes, do you see, this is exactly why I'm looking into Substance now, and this is why I'm so excited about it, because Substance is just a whole different approach to the texture painting in ZBrush. Even though it works and it has its uses, this is just such a cool, this is just completely different. Let's try this again, because I have a feeling there's a way to just select the map, import mesh normal maps and baked maps for all materials. Let me just go and do that and just pick the one map that we do have. I have a feeling that may do something beneficial. Maybe not. I just thought, you know. We're back to the shoes. Let's try this again with the fill layer and with that mask. And no, it's still not exactly combined. It is separate though, but we had that before. By materials here. Chris, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to highlight weaknesses or anything. It was totally not my intention. But if it helps, you know, awesome. So, the whole thing about the ID maps. How do we associate the one we've made in ZBrush now with the object? I mean, even if we can't make it work, this is already quite nice to just go and drop materials that we think should fit on here just with these things, I'm thinking. Oh, no worries, no worries. No worries. So what I've done is I've imported this object again and added the ID map that we've made in Zbrush to this. I'm not sure if it made a difference. I'm not sure where I can see that. It still has the material zone split up here. And I was just about to have a look for, do we have something? This is smart materials here. Do we have something like leather? We have tons of leather, like fine aged leather. Maybe that's a good thing for the top. We just drop that on there. And if we're not entirely happy about the color, we can always turn that into something else, I believe. There's dust, edge damages, and the leather color. Under leather color, we pick something else like maybe like I'll stick with the palette that I had there yesterday. So this could be like a hot pink. That's nice. I'm thinking then on the, we can put an alpha on this. That might be good. Get creative here. This, I'm thinking, this could be like a bit of a scuffed heel. I don't know what might look good there. I'll just have a look through all these exciting materials. I'm thinking like a cork heel might be good. Do we have cork? Do they have that? Cork? Cork isn't in here. Base material maybe? No, not there. Cork might be available on the Substance website. Hull damage. Oh yeah, maybe make a hull damage heel. Is that a good idea? I can't tell. Still thinking about it. I don't think it... Oh, is it because I've had a mask on here? Yeah, probably. No. Hull damage. Damn you, hull damage! Go away! Maybe hull damage doesn't work on heels. Nope, see, it doesn't work. Dang. The trader! How you doing? Does anything else work? Height blend, does that work on here? No, nothing seems to work on the heel. Why is that then? Is it because I have an unmasked fill layer? That's probably why. Put hull damage on here, see what that looks like. No, that's not it either. That's not quite how it works, is it? What happens if we use something else, like the sole? Latex black on the sole, does that work? Yes, so that works. So it's just an issue with the heel, but I don't really know what it is. Sole bottom heel. Heel is this. What's the heel got that we dislike? Delete that layer completely. Let's see what happens if we go and put this on here. Shouldn't that appear on the heel? Yes, there we go. Now it appears. Jade might not be the best material for the heel, but at least it works now. Yeah, I think it was just that layer. Maybe there was something masked in the layer. That could have been. So Chris was looking at shoes on Amazon yesterday, and they had a really nice type of material that I don't really know how to describe. It's kind of a woven string. That's what it looked like, and that was kind of wrapped around the heel. I'd like to go for a look like that, but I don't really know how to describe that. Maybe the Substance database might be able to help. There might also, instead of the smart material, we can also use a base material, see what they have to offer. Like carbon fiber, that might be something we can potentially we can amend. See if I can find anything. I don't really have anything installed. There were a couple that I've downloaded yesterday. I might as well just import them back. I think one I can I can amend. So there was one that I've used for the laces here. Let's see, on this here. There's a laces material that might work because I can amend the color values in this. So let me see if I can use that for the heel. That might be quite nice. And that is still in my downloads folder. Let me go and import that. They were free, by the way, with this little tutorial that I've made there, that I've watched there. Climbing rope, that was it. And these are, what are they, base materials, all of them, I think. And I might just put them into my whole library here. That's the one, climbing rope. So if I go and put that on my heel now. Do you know, we could make a couple of different texture sets, I'm thinking. So the jade with just a different color, that might actually be a good idea. Climbing rope, yeah, so this is almost there. I think then first of all there's a thing down here under UV scale. If we make that a bit smaller, something like that, maybe 20. Do you know, I also appreciate about this interface here, I also appreciate things like intuitive controls. Like this slider here is it's just very fast to react if I move this around. But if I hold down Shift, then it's exactly like in Blender. You just find that nice that fine adjustment. Maybe that, and then go for different rotation. And then a different color combination. So the defaults are these ones here: blue, white, pink, and kind of, you know, azure. But if we were to put that into maybe like a light purple, and then this could be the dark purple, and the white could be the light yellow, and then the blue just trying to find a good palette here. So maybe the color should be like the dark purple, the overall color, and then we have 3 pattern colors, and then we have maybe one's this, one's that, and then one's that. Or perhaps one should be like more like a darker color. Maybe one should be black even. This is where the creative part comes in. But this is also where you can try out so many things. It's just beautiful. I really like this approach. Yes, braided raffia, that's right. What were the other ones here? That's suede, brush downwards, and cotton technical fabric. I'm thinking suede could be, this might be a nice way for the inner sole. And then the cotton might look nice on the inside here. Let's see if we can make this, turn this color into like the lighter yellow, and then also the scale probably needs to change. like 4, 3.5 is probably, maybe 4. Whoops. Goody, and then maybe this one here, cotton. See what that looks like on the inside. And again, scale is probably not what we might not even want to see the scale. And then keeping in line with the color, could make it match the sole. Maybe that's a bit much. Could match the pink. Could match the purple. And make it slightly darker. I don't know. I think maybe we'll just leave that one kind of an off-white, maybe. Not white, but like an off-white. I'm not entirely sure about the heel. I think we should try the... thanks, Julia. I think we should try the jade that we had there. And then also we need to... There's something on the side here. Let's go and see if we can... If we can find something like the... like whatever we have on the bottom here, which I've forgotten what that was actually. Was that a plastic type material? Latex black, I think that's what it was. Put that on the sides as well. And then I think we have one other thing around here, that little rim, is that right? I think. Yes, there we go. And then there's also that. That's also latex. Or we tried the thing that had scuff marks. Wasn't there something with scuff marks? Plastic glossy scuffed. Maybe that's a better option. Not that I see much of a difference. Maybe we'll make him. Yeah, maybe use that, the scuffed stuff for the sole, and then maybe I'll paint some dirt on it in a minute. Maybe that's a nice idea. Let's try the teal for the heel. Teal for the heel, I like it. It was called teal, wasn't it? Teal. Was maybe a base material. Oh no, it was not teal, it was jade, wasn't it? I'm sorry. It was jade, then it was a smart material. There we go, that's it. Put that on here. And then go get rid of the climbing rope. Or just make it invisible. That's also an idea. That's neat. Tons of fun. Oh, AO darkness and cloud colors. How exciting. And then base. My god. They really went to town here. Base color. Oops. So much to explore. Literally hours of fun. I might just leave the cloud like that. Dirt's a good, the dark speckles and the vein, that's a good color. But my actual overall color isn't actually shining through here. Is that this? No, that's not it either. Thickness scattering. I was kind of hoping to give this a different color, but it looks like that jade material doesn't want to doesn't want to change its appearance. So like, what is the green tinge I'm getting at on the surface here? You think it's the colored edges? Is that it? If I go change that to, no, that's not it actually. It's not it either. All the veins, so this is some kind of magic that I don't really get. Which is also fine. Let's use a different material then. Good thing is we still have our climbing rope available, so I can just go and bring that back, I think. Yay, there it is. Unchanged. Perhaps it just needs to be a little bit smaller. I'm not against it, it's just a bit too big, maybe. And perhaps also not rotated the correct way. I was just trying to line it up on the bottom here, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Maybe that'll do the trick. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find something on the Substance Marketplace. There was something like the asset store that sadly I've forgotten where that was now. They should have really used a slightly simpler to remember URL. I think this was it, right? All assets. Maybe we can try. Oh no, that's all assets. Substance assets. So I'm rather thinking of materials. There we go. That's it. And then maybe I'm trying to find something like a cork material. Do they have that? Lots of cork. Cork, that's good for heel. Cork natural honeycomb, debossed. You type in cork, you get 70 different results. That's interesting. What do we want to see on our heel? With the edge design toward the top. Maybe it's just the colors that I don't really agree with. I'm not entirely sure what. Maybe we should just make it black and white on the heel. Oh, you mean these ones here? Because that's not rolling good. Is that cork still? Oh, that's all the cork now. Let me go to the very top here. So this is interesting. Printed cork. Oh, there we go. Different color variations. Wine bottle corks, that's so cute. Thank you for dropping by, Jeremy. Wonderful to see you. Have fun with the 10K run. Jeremy, if you didn't know, Jeremy is in Singapore and he does a 10,000 meter run every day at around midnight his time. Crazy! This man is fit as a fiddle. I can't decide. There's just so many. This one's interesting. I like that. Compact wood parquet hexagon. Also this one here, the herringbone, also nice. That'll come in handy for making interior tiles, certainly. This one will also work. I like that. Hex grid pattern. I'm not sure about the patterns at all. I can't decide. Maybe I'll just use the parquet. Parquet herringbone, that might work. Or this one here actually. Parquet English. This is the fun part, isn't it? That would be nice. Why don't we get them both? So I like this one for interior floors. If I kind of think ahead, what else do I want to do with that material? I also like this, and I also like the one. which was, where was that? This one here. Let's go get them all. Let's go download that. Oh, just hit the download button. That would have been good. Download that. Licensed, check. That's how we end up with so many substance credits. And then I might just go and take these ones as well. Or just this one for now. I know what the cork Epido wood parquet herringbone where that is. I think I'm gonna use this one. Licensed. I like it. Let's put them in. Yes, this is the fun part. This is also, I think, if you can, I said this to my wife the other day, if you have fun with something, then a 12 to 16 hour day just goes by like that. But it also makes you then interested in what you're doing. It's not like you don't feel it's a drag. Like if you do an office job, sometimes in the past when I had full-time jobs, I was thinking, man, I'm just dragging through the day. And if you do something like this, it's just time just goes by like this and you're just in the flow. I really like that. What are we gonna call these here? Are they base materials? I suppose, right? They're base materials. And let's add them to my assets. They look completely different than they did on the website. What happened here? They look much darker, right? This is not what I downloaded. What's happened, Adobe? I want a refund. It's fine, I can make do. Yes, that's the kind of cork. That's the kind of cork I was looking for. A slightly different scale, but that is the kind of cork I was looking for. Exactly right. Oh, I see. And then the pattern comes out. I actually liked it without the pattern visible. I suppose that's something I can do in the height. Like all these little, the whole pattern here. I don't really want that. Well, cork heals. Lies! All lies! Yeah, this I have a feeling that's probably, is that just a height thing? Height and probably not a metalless thing. Yeah, those bits here, what are they? It definitely had something to do with the height. But how do we get rid of this completely? Normal. Normal wasn't actually on. That's quite nice. There's only metal and roughness and then the color. Oh, let me make this invisible and also get rid of the jade. Yeah, so it's definitely somewhere in this material. Oh, hex grid gap, that's the one maybe. Hex grid gap. See if we just make that 0, then does it disappear? It does not. Hex grid amount, let's make that 0. Yes, we're getting there, we're getting there. Hex grid amount, we can't make that 0 by any chance, can we? No. Dang. Hey, it's barely noticeable. I'm thinking that's probably okay. Can we change the colors a little bit? What happens if we go and make that? Oh, look at that. You can have all kinds of fun with this. This would, if this wasn't a heel on a shoe, this would work as a kitchen counter, wouldn't it? Like a granite marble type kitchen counter as well. Now it doesn't look like cork anymore. You slap in a bit of brownish stuff and all of a sudden it's cork. You make it dark gray and it's no longer cork. That is exciting. I love it. Leave it cork. That's the only color we can change here. It looks like it. This is the fun part. I would love it if we can put logo on the bottom of the sole, like shoe manufacturers have, like, you know, here, something like Chris Labs or something, or even on the side here, something like that, or here on the bottom. That's also a nice idea, or here on the inside. That might be an interesting experiment. I've got, I think, Chris, you've sent me your logo at one point. Let me see if I can find that on the Discord quickly. Is it on here? Yes, it's on here. This is fun. I'm enjoying doing this together with you all, because I'm tapping in the dark, and it's just wonderful to work through this and see what else you can do. It's nice. Okay, let's see. Didn't we have? I might not actually show you all this. The private conversations, if I can even find them here. I think you've DM'd me that logo at one point, didn't you? I thought you did. Didn't you, Chris? Did you not send me your logo at one point? Was it not an Illustrator file or a PNG? I can't seem to find that in our private conversations anymore. Was that on your server, maybe? I can't actually remember now. Well, maybe resend it in Discord, thanks. Just as on the DM channel, then I know where to look. Oh, do you know, that is why I can't see it. It just comes up with a bunch of text. That is why. This is, I think I can show you this. This is kind of interesting. This is just, this is what it looks like. I'll see if I can just download that. This is why I didn't recognize it. How interesting. I'll go and save it and open it in Photoshop, see what happens. How interesting. Well, I mean, would Substance be happy with an AI file immediately? What do you think? I was going to turn it into a PNG, but maybe, I mean, let's just find out, shall we? Import resources. Let's see if an SVG is actually okay. I wouldn't be surprised. No. It doesn't like it. It doesn't like it. It doesn't show it. Okay, fine. No worries. That's why I didn't recognize that at the logo. I just looked for the logo and I thought, bunch of text. That can't be it. Discord tried to display it. One of those things. Wendy, have you played, and Brian, have you played with, what's it called, Substance Designer as well? Because that's another whole thing with which you can design the materials. And weren't there two ways of generating materials? There was one way in which you set them up via nodes, but then there's another in which you basically randomize parameters, and it's almost like a video game. Very interesting. Oh, that's the image sequence of my sneakers here. That's the SVG. We probably don't need it to be all that large, so maybe 1024 by 1020, well, 4. No need for the timeline. Ah, there we go. Yeah, much nicer. Lots of room for opportunities. You go make the canvas something exactly square, maybe like that. The shark rocket. So you usually have this as a with the dark background, so I'm just trying to work out, do I do this with... I could mask this bit off here, the circle, and then just take the nose out here. And then all of that would have a background. That might be nice. I might do that. If I use it like this, then the basically be white in the background. And I'm not sure if we like that. We need a couple of versions of this. Let's go and export this as a PNG. And call that, put that in the other folder. Was it in substance? Maybe strap pumps. I will call this textures as well. Shark Rocket Clear, I'll call it. And let me go and just mask this off here. I could probably grab the selection from the path. Didn't we at one point in Photoshop have something along the lines of a selection brush, or did I dream that? This might not look awesome now, but where's the end point here? Dang, dude. I could have sworn there was a selection brush with which we could just go and add bits to the selection that we've just made. Is that not something that was once in existence? I mean, I'm happy to use the path tool and stuff. It's just, you know, it's just one of those. It's just one of those things. That was actually the wrong way around, wasn't it? Invert. Or just invert the mask. That's no, that's not what I wanted to do. I was actually completely okay here. I just wanted to fill the background in with something. Can we use a solid color here? Yeah, perfect. And then we'll use a kind of a dark purple. I think that's what you use, something like that, and then we make a little gradient out of it. I'm thinking, the biscuits! Hey, how you doing? Chris, send me that logo again as a PNG if you have it, just for completion. I think that might be nice. I'll add a little, I'll add a gradient layer to this. Biscuits, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for the super chat donation, first of all, and thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on what you're going through on Patreon. That's very nice. I have a lot of thoughts about this, and I think I might make a little video for you and elaborate more on that. Yeah, because there's a lot to be said about this, about that topic. And change is good. PNG in Discord, thank you, Mr. Chris, appreciate it. Sometimes, yeah, see, sometimes that's just easier. Actually, that doesn't have a background either. You just put a background overall on this, right? I'm good with the SVG then. I just wanted to make sure it is somehow masked off. And what was I going to do? Brain, hello? Brain, tell me. There was something. A little outline border around it. It doesn't have to be... Ooh, that's nice. It might be a bit much, but Also not exactly what I wanted. I meant more like a stroke. Just so that it separates itself, but the real, forget not the outer glow actually. Even though that is quite nice actually, the outer glow, it's just a little strong and a little much. So maybe we don't need the gradient then. We might just be okay with this. So this now has a background. Let's go and do this. Chris, see you soon. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for the logo. I'll send you whatever comes out here at one point, if something does come out. I'll just call this Shark Rocket BG, like Beard Goblin. So now in here, let's go and import that. Add resource. That was in my substance folder now, somewhere. Biscuits, have you tried substance at all? Are you into substance? Strap pumps, textures. And this, I suppose this is now an alpha, technically, or is it a texture? I'm not entirely sure what we should call it. It's kind of both, really. Is it an alpha or texture? This is just a tag for how do I find this better, I suppose. Maybe I'll call it a texture for now, and I'll import it just into my current session. Or is it an alpha? I can't tell. Also, where is it? Shark Rocket, there it is. You do, So let's see where we can put that. I think so. This is something else I don't actually know about substance. How do you now hide the top part of the shoe? If I wanted to put this kind of on the inside here or on the inside there, how do you hide parts of the top? Is it just a matter of disabling that little eyeball icon? So like sole top, yes, that is the straps. Yes, excellent. Straps and straps inner, perfect, and we're left with basically flip-flops. I love it. It makes a difference when programs are actually intuitive, aren't they? So let's see if I go and drag this on here. Is that going to be turned into a projection immediately? I think so. Logo is texture, thank you. Alpha is black and white, that makes perfect sense. And we want this to be a mask, right? I'm thinking. We kind of do. And W, E, and R are also in use, like they are in Maya and all other kinds of cool applications. That is nice. Which way do we want this to point? Maybe this way, I'm thinking. And what's the shortcut key for the surface tool? Because that is also very cool. I love the surface tool. We need this twice. I could have probably done this with symmetry, but I think I'll just go and duplicate that when I'm done here. How do I get a decent amount of contrast in this now? It reckons it's a grayscale.
Boxes are defeating. Purpose always fleeting. I pose questions to the ceiling like an answer gonna come. Truth is too revealing. Life is easier concealing. All emotions to the star on your heart going dumb. I shouldn't be in drive more. I just
Or is that just this one here? Is that the base color? Yes, that is the base color. Gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha. So the base color, how do I then turn the base color into the color of the object? How do I do that? So if I wanted to... If I wanted to have the logos of the texture displayed rather than that of the fill layer, has it something to do with this now? Maybe with this? Alpha shape. This is a little bit complicated now. Grayscale uniform color. Can't I just go and drag the texture into this? Is that how it works? Does anything work? No. That just paints this in now. Oh my goodness, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, undo, undo. Well, that part I find a little bit confusing. I think I can just go and change the fill color. Where is that now? Let me do this again. Let me do this again. Let's get rid of this and try this again. Put that on here. Mask base color. What happens if I use base color? Ah, base color. There we go. That's the one. Not a mask, actually. It's a base color thing. I thought that was scale there. It wasn't. There we go. Mr. Nate is here. How you doing, buddy? I'm playing a video game today that's called Substance Painter. Or at least I'm trying. Which one was the surface tool again? This one here. That doesn't look as high res as I had made it in Photoshop, so I'm not sure what's going on there. It is still... Oh, did I down res that accidentally when I exported that? No, 1200 by 1200. That shouldn't be that big of an issue. But okay, I mean, for test it's not bad. It's just I had expected this to look, you know, better, in all honesty. But hey, it's preview mode. Gotcha, gotcha. So I'm gonna stop worrying then. Make it a little bit larger. Oh, that's not scale, is it? That was scale. There. And then can I go and... Oh, it's already duplicated. Oh, okay. How interesting. Is symmetry on? How is this? Why is this duplicated? I mean... Is it? So if I turn this, yeah, the other thing turns as well. The symmetry must be on then. Mirror transformation in X. I suppose that is that must be on. I don't remember enabling it, but hey, it probably did me a little favor there. Goody, so I don't have to duplicate that. So I like that soul. I like how it separates itself from the yellow. I think I'd also like to put this same thing on the bottom of the soul, like on this bit here. Just because I can and because I need the practice. Maybe they maybe share a UV map. That is probably what it is. Do you know what? It is actually what Chris said earlier. He says he made the UV map for one shoe. Not for both shoes. It's one and then it's mirrored. That's exactly why that is, yes. Good thinking there, ladies. Very good stuff. I love it. It is a rather complicated subject matter we're dealing with, isn't it? This whole 3D thing. So if I go and put that onto here now. Previously I tried mask. Let me try that again and see if that is kind of would be nice on the sole here. It might actually just be fantastic as a mask. Maybe make that a little bit smaller, but yeah, just to check the symmetry there, it works well. Oop. I always forget what key does. So I know it's W, E, and R, but R, interestingly enough, is not rotate. R is of course scale. R being the only letter that isn't in the word scale, that makes it perfectly understandable why they chose that. Not. Right then, shark shoes. Hey, that works. I like it. I like it. Do we dare try and put a little bit of dirt here where the toes would be? I think that might be quite nice, just to put as if somebody had already worn the shoes. I think that is something else I'd like to try, and then we'll go and bake this out and do a render in Dash Studio. If only I could remember how to do this. I could use it as a mask, and then under the mask make a fill layer just for the... Yes, you know, that is how it works. I think that's where that added element of confusion comes in, but that's exactly how it works. You make a mask first, the mask is then not the fill layer, the mask is the mask, and underneath the mask you make another fill for the mask. Yes, I remember what that is exactly what he said yesterday, the good man, in the tutorial. Sadly I didn't catch his name, but it's a really good getting started series. Sole bottom, sole edge, sole inner, is that it? Yes, sole inner is what we want to use. Let me see if I can add. Is that where I just put a paint layer on this? I think I do. And then I just go and grab something. Cement, cotton, concrete, crystal, maybe dirt, something like dirt. Elephant skin. That looks nice here. Cracks. That looks good. Not for our venture, but maybe I'll just try cotton. That with a different color and with less fill. That might be good. How about concrete? Any of them will do, I think. Let's just stick with this. Chalk, strong as well. No, that's not good. Let's not do cement. How about cement? Yeah, that'll do. Something like that. And then in dark. And then there was another little shortcut key. I remember yesterday he said something about hold Control and then hold the right mouse button down and go left and right to do the size. Control right mouse button up and down does nothing. Control does something, but not what I was thinking it would do. It didn't do the hardness. I think Control left click and drag. That does the flow. So I'm thinking, is this where the toes are? Does this even look good here? How many toes does a human have again? It's about 5, right? It's going to be slightly larger. Oops, it's a little strong, isn't it? I do have a Wacom tablet here as well, which I haven't used in ages. If it's a little too strong, I can always put the opacity down a little bit. Yeah, so it's not like, you know, we don't want this to be dirty foot syndrome at all. It's just, let's try blending it in with multiply. Does that work? Just a little wear and tear. It does work. I seem to remember most of what I learned yesterday there. 13 toes, that on one foot, Nate, or is that both feet together? Let's bring everything back. Also, what I totally never even did, save the project. How is that? Let's go and save the project. Strap pumps. Strap pumps. Probably both. Nate, that's crazy. Let's bring the straps and the inner straps back. This is everything. I'm not entirely sure about there's maybe one last change we want to perhaps make. I like the material here on the inside, but I'm not entirely sure if the color is perfect. I'm taking votes for a different inside color. Currently, it is kind of an off-white, but if you have better solutions, better suggestions, please let me know. White, I'm always thinking with anything that is 3D, if something is white, it looks untextured to me. Even if there is stuff here, there's clearly material there, it always looks untextured. So I take requests. If it's a color, or if it's just, maybe we just try something like a darker kind of a gray, or we can try something like the dark blue here. That's another idea. No, I don't do I. It's just such a new thing for me. How did that happen? Where is that even? Is that under here? No, that's description. Channels mapping parameters, perhaps. Yes, there it is. Color. See if I can go and grab the color picker. I have to left click and drag the color picker over things. I was kind of hoping to pick up the purple here from Chris's logo, but that didn't quite work. Can I just look for it here? Does the color picker do that? If I go left click and drag to here, does it do that? Almost there. Oh, look at that. That's kind of, I'd feel better about a color like this. Even if we just use it as a starting point and then play around with it and see where we go with that. I'm thinking it'd be nice to have it something like that. It doesn't have to be all that saturated. Do you know what I mean? Just something that's a little bit different. I think I like this a lot better than the white. Are we good with that? Because it matches Chris's logo. That'd be nice. Ooh, indeed, absolutely. Shark shoes. I like the cork. This is nice. If it's not the woven ribbon thing. There's another thing I want to try out. CG Matter did a great tutorial on extracting textures from photos. So one of the things he was describing is if you had a picture of a tree and the tree is kind of an odd angle somewhere You just go and grab a cylinder and put it roughly into the same position, then remove the back faces and project the photo from view onto the cylinder, and then you go and grab that texture out, turn that into a square, make it tileable, and then you end up with, you just take a photo of something you see in nature and you just extract the texture from that and use it for your own purposes. It's like, my goodness, it's just, will the fun ever end? I guess not. Wendy, help me out, and Biscuits, and Brian. What do we do now with the map exporting thing? Let's go, first of all, let's save it. And then we go export textures, right? I think we'll stick with 2K. We'll export all of these things. PBR metallic roughness, that's probably good, right? Is that cool? We could, let's use JPEGs for this. 8 bits fine. Based on each texture set size, no, we're going to use 2K. And padding, do we need dilation infinite? Or do we need dilation and transparent? Or default background color plus dilation and diffusion? I'm not entirely sure. So all I really need, I'm happy for it to export other maps that I don't exactly need, but all I need really is the diffuse, and the normals would be nice, and the metallicity, I'm not sure if it's that big a deal. Probably isn't. Normals, transparency I don't need, so diffuse, normals, bump, roughness. Those are the 4 that I'm really interested in. 4K, it's just for shoes, isn't it? I'm not using a laptop, no, I'm using a fairly beefy desktop system. 2 Xeon CPUs, 2 RTX 2080 GPUs, 48 gigabytes of RAM. Metallicity, base color, roughness, yeah, I'm thinking. Normals, I'm thinking. Exactly, normals, yes. Yeah, that's really all we need. But there's so many little things that I can do here. I'm thinking I'm just gonna go and say export, include all. I don't know. Yes, include all is good. Output directory. Oh no. We wanna make sure that ends up in not random directory. We want this to be in directory where we actually find it later. How about in textures in my project? I just don't know what this is here, the PBR metallic roughness template. Is this the amount of maps that is being exported? Because I've never heard of Lens Studio, but I'm sure it's good. Maybe one day we'll have a DAZ Studio template here. No worries, I think there is actually... Koyu Cooper, I think there is a bigger description on this. Let me see. Rig, that might bring it up. That might bring up a description of my system. It might not. I might have forgotten to program that in. Give the bot a moment. Preset, right? Absolutely. A preset, yes. We'll leave that for another day. List of exports. Oh, okay. Lumberyard. My God. There we go. That's the presets, isn't it? This looks ever so slightly scary. I'm sure this is good stuff. 48 textures selected for export. All right, let's do it. So the rig option didn't quite work. I do have a description of what I'm using. This is a link to the hardware that I'm using if you're interested in. Prince, thank you so much for dropping by. That is so nice of you. Thank you for hitting the like button. I appreciate it. God bless you too. Yes, I'll be here every Saturday and Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for either a video game or something like this. I think I can close this now, right? And here are these shoes. We can now bring the buckles back, actually, that we disabled earlier because it had an issue with the export. Let me go and add a filament draw options node here, because my startup scene is I've just moved my my OneDrive and Dropbox folders to a different drive, so the starter scene doesn't work, so I'll have to remap that. So on the here, 15,000 is a bit much, so we'll just bring that down to a comfortable 6,000 so that we can work with Filament as we set up the maps for the shoes. Different modifier keys, of course. You're used to one, you're not used to the other. Let's see if we can do this with the surface selection tool and go through these. Or we just go through these from top to bottom. It's the same material basically on all of them, so once I've set up one, it's going to be okay to paste this on all the others. So it'll be like heel. Here's that one. So base color, let's see if we can put that where it needs to be. Is it the same map though? Or is it not? It's not the same map. Ay, caramba! Is it not the same map? No. Okay, this is going to take a little bit of time. Heel. Righty, so heel, base color. Check. Diffuse. Diffuse roughness. Oh, come on, seriously? It doesn't remember that. That is uncool. This is the height map. We don't need that buckles. This is the roughness map here. Oh, so many maps. Yes. Do you know, absolutely, this is what I really like about YouTube prints, that we just leave things on there and you watch things in your own time. If you can make it to the live stream, awesome. If not, hey, that's also totally fine. That's what I like about it. Unlike Twitch really favor the live streams, and if you can't make it live, then you really have to dig for pre-recorded things. Things get auto-deleted after a couple of months, so it's one of those things. Diffuse glossy, we don't need to touch glossy. We need to do metallic flakes. I'm sure there's a script for that. If you do this a lot, considering that the textures aren't actually in the correct space here, I might actually want to, if I wanted to share this with somebody, then this isn't a good place for the textures to be. I should really put them into a different directory before I map this, just so that I have a chance to share this and give this to someone like Chris, who can then have a look at it and have fun with it. Should we do that? Let's do it properly, actually. Yeah, let's do it properly. Let's do it properly. Because this is just so much work, it's probably better to invest a little bit of thought process into this now. So strap pumps, my things are all in textures here, but really where they, with this whole thing, all these maps here, I'm just going to use all of these. I'm going to put this into runtime textures, and he's C Cox, so I'm going to be maybe I'll be WP Guru today. And then in here I'll have a product, which will then be stream strap pumps, and that's enough. That I don't need to. I could make another textures folder. I'm going to be okay with this. I'll just paste all these textures into here, and then I'll go and set this up from that folder. I think that's probably better. To runtime textures, this and that, and then we go that. There. Oh, can you? And then just drag them onto the channel. I might try that, Brian. That's not a bad. That's not a bad call. diffuse roughness. I would appreciate, what's it called here? Thumbnail preview thing. How do we do that again? Probably under view. Medium icon's good. Medium is okay. Large is better. Let's do that. So then we have roughness. So roughness goes directly into here. Does that work? Does it? Is that the correct path here now? Yes, it is. Brian, that is the spirit. Good stuff. Yes, I know. I don't think Chris has made it that way. I think it's one of those things. We'll probably work something out. I could have used Texture Atlas and just combined them all into one texture map. I think they're all individual ones. They're just overlapping. I think that's how it works. I didn't pay too close attention. I was more focusing on the whole substance approach. But yeah, that is something we might want to have a look at in the future. Do we also have a bump? Roughness. That's height. Do we have bump? Heel. Why do I have heel? Oh, that's heel tip. Oh, we don't have bump. This is the bump. That's metallic. Did we do metallic already? Oh my god. No, we didn't. Metallic goes here. That's height, but we don't have bump. But there is a bump map in here, so I'm thinking I want to go and get rid of that. I'm thinking. Could have sworn we had a bump somewhere, but I guess we don't. This is where the heel tip now begins. Heel tip. Oh, that's not the diffuse for heel tip. Where's heel tip diffuse? Exactly. Birdo, hello. Thank you so much for your kind words about my content. I appreciate that. That is so nice of you to say. Heel tip. Heel tip. Base color, that's it. Glossy roughness. Am I doing this correctly? I could have sworn that there was a glossy roughness shader last time I checked. Is that not the case anymore? Oh, I'm blind. I can't actually see it anymore. Can you see it? I can't see glossy roughness. Wasn't that here? Diffuse roughness. Glossy roughness. I can't find it. Wasn't it here on the regular heel? Isn't that always there? Glossy roughness, here it is. And also I didn't put that map in from the regular heel. Heel roughness, that's where that needs to go. And since it's a map, this value then also needs to be set to 1. This just takes forever to set this up, doesn't it? So under glossy roughness, why isn't that on the heel tip? I don't understand. No, not here. Prince, thank you so much for joining my channel. That is really exciting. Thank you. Hey, with that supporter level, you also get an invite to my private Discord server. So I will see you there if you're using Discord. It's a private Discord server just for supporters. Get to answer questions. You get in touch. You can share your projects. You can get help with all kinds of bits and pieces. And you get to chat throughout the day. Do you know, yes, I think we should do that. I think we should, I mean, the maps look different here, don't they, Wendy? So I'm thinking the the best way to do this would have been literally I would imagine use the, let's actually have a look at the UVs. I mean, thankfully this was only a little exercise, but if we go and have a look at the UV view, I can, isn't it all on one map? So I don't really know, like from Marvelous Designer, I'm kind of used to the fact that it's properly UV mapped, so it's on one map, it's not different different UV tiles. So Chris did it correctly. So I'm thinking, like you say, maybe there's a way in Substance to just combine them all onto one map, because then I can set up the material once and then just duplicate it onto all surfaces, and then we're basically done. Let's have a look at that, shall we? Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at that. See if we can make that happen. Which also means, let me go and delete these things out here and put them straight in there next time we do this. How, however, should we do that? How should we proceed? Yes, you can actually. This is the UV view, and indeed, yes, UV view. Daz Studio has so many exciting things that you can check. You can also buy nodes, so that'll be then the selection you make in the scene tab, and by material is then the selection you make here. So pick a material, and then you'll see what material zone that is. And I think what it doesn't do well is if you look at this on a Genesis character, it will just it will show you all the UVs overlapped, so it doesn't show them in the UDIM space. It'll just show them all overlapped, and that's a bit scary. Yeah, so that's good to know. Chris did it correctly. So all we need to now find is a way for Substance to combine my maps. Any input on that, greatly appreciated. I'm sure it's got to do something with the export options. If I say export textures, I'm sure there's a tick box. Is it? That's not the padding. Export shaders parameters. Global settings, check and invert, output templates. Ay. Yeah, what we need here is like a Daz Studio output template. How do they differ then? Corona Keyshot Lens Studio, Keyshot 9, my goodness, I think I have a license for Keyshot 2. that is old. Oh, okay. You have to have the object with one material zone and use the ID map to do your masking of different materials. Okay. We didn't get to that part, did we? Of how to use the ID map that I've made in Zbrush. How do I import that into Substance and tell it to do its business from there? Hey, thanks, Prince. Wonderful to see you. I'll be here every Saturday and Sunday. I also am sometimes streaming over on Twitch in the afternoons. So make sure to follow me there as well. !Twitch will do that. That'll give you a little link. Let me go and put that out there. There we go. Yes, if you're on Twitch, then do follow me there. I wonder, Wendy, if they might actually do that. I mean, they add so many cool features regularly, so I wonder if that's one. If we just scream hard enough, they'll do that. Yeah, so if there's no option to do that, I might just go and set up these maps off stream. But tell you what, while you're still here, let me go and save this one more time and show me if I import these things again one more time. Could you show me what I plug the ID map into so that that we get combined maps? Shall we do that? Because I suppose then the first thing, let me go and make a new project here and import my strap pumps one more time. We set them up with materials but without buckles. So if I do that, then I think they come in with separate material zones here, right? Is that, are you saying, yes, talk me through this. What do we do? Where do we plug the ID map into? And have I even started correctly? So many questions, I know. Document resolution, we'll do that. Compute tangent space per fragment. Use UV tile workflow. Preserve tile layout per material and enable painting across seams. Or convert UV tiles into individual texture sets. Is that the one? Oh, the OBJ needs to be one material zone, like, sure, gotcha, okay, right. Yes, I see. So everything is one material zone. That makes sense. That's probably something, let's go do that in the Blender. Or do we, I mean, since we got the ID map from Zbrush, should we just export this object from Zbrush? Because that'll probably have only one material zone if I go and export that from here. Right, yes, gotcha. This is where that is, isn't it? If I go and say, I think I tried that, but it didn't quite work. And this is under here, right? If I go and select my OBJ here, and then underneath here, I'll just select the ID map. I think that's how this works. But like Brian said, my object has multiple material zones, so I need to first of all get rid of those and make sure it only has one, and then use the ID map. Is that how it works? Let me try. I'm not really familiar with exporting things from Zbrush at all. Where might we do that? Probably geometry. Alternatively, I can just go and take this into Blender, remove the material zones, and just club them all together and turn them into one. Export. That's probably it. Export straps with buckles from Zbrush. It's getting complicated. Let's try that. This is now our thing here. From Zbrush, let's do that. Document resolution is that. We've plugged in the ID map here and we go boom. And we say, save the previous bits and pieces. Now we have one material zone, so that's good. That's kind of what we want. It's just called default matte. That's kind of good. So now, how do I lowest sub? Yes. Thanks for checking. Exactly. So now, how do we? If we were to go and pop something like a material on here, it assumes everything's one material zone. How do we tell Substance Painter now to split things up by ID? Bake the textures. Indeed, that is exactly right. Correct answer. Output size, does this matter? Is this the maps that are generated under the hood for this baking process, I would imagine? Do I need to select all of these or just ID? Because we only really have an ID map. We don't have other maps right now. This is exciting. That's why baking is so exciting. Or don't bake the ID. Bake everything except for the ID. And then hit bake. OpenGL on. I'm not sure where that is. How do you guys know all this? Yeah, I haven't found OpenGL biscuits. Let's go bake texture, see what happens. What could possibly go wrong? Ooh, look at the pretty colors. All right. We had something similar before. It still does this, so it still sees it as one big material. Is it a trial and error? Absolutely, yes, and a lot of time invested. That's exactly right. You know, Brian, this could be a channel, like just baking maps and have that on a loop. Do you know, Biscuits, it could be that it's a legacy option, that it's been updated and removed where not applicable, that could be. Now pick Texture Settings tab next to the layers. Over here. Check. What we got here? Then this is General, this is Channels, and this is Mesh Maps. That sounds exciting. Oh, big mesh maps. Excellent. Channel. Scroll down to ID map and pick it. ID map. Where might that be? I've got, so at the very top here, general size channels. I don't have an ID. Mesh maps. I don't think I have ID. You're on the old one, okay. I don't think I have ID. ID, there it is, there it is. Haha, found it. Now I'm picking my ID map. I'm thinking. Oh, gotcha. My God, I'm glad we're recording this. This is good to rewatch later, like all these little bits and pieces. It's the only one that wasn't selected. Makes sense because otherwise the Substance would have maybe baked it. Oh. Found it. Now what do we do? ID map. Got to read up on that. Bake to layers. Where might that be? I've got bake mesh maps, but that's, I think we've done that already. Bake to layers. Is that like a right click option that might come up here? Oh, back to layers. I'm so sorry. Back to layers, not bake to layers. Back to layers. Okay, and now is it the masking process, I wonder? I'm so sorry. I might actually try. If we go and can we do that? And then we go, nope, that's not it either. Okay, no worries. Unmasked. So, load a leather that you want to use for the straps. Let's find one. Like calf leather or fine aged leather. Currently would go onto the whole shoe. That's probably not what we want. Or we do that and then mask it off afterwards. Those are kind of the two options that we have. Or there's a trick that Wendy is going to show us that we tell Substance to basically disable certain channels and only enable one. Let's see. Go on the whole shoe. Okay, let's do that. I'll pop that on here. I'm not entirely sure what Zbrush did here, but hey, we'll leave that for another time. Now, how do we mask it off most of the rest of the shoe? I do like that random pattern here. This is another texture set. there's so many other questions that I have about substance. Like one was when I painted the stitches on there on my roller blade, I was wondering if there's I don't think they support that yet, but in Photoshop you can have a path that you can either extrude from something or you can draw it with a pen tool, and then you can tell Photoshop stroke this with a brush now. I wonder if that's available in Substance. Yeah, let's ignore that. Exactly. Some of the baking is a bit off. I think this is just the way ZBrush had selected the bits and pieces. So we'll ignore that. That's cool. Yes. How do I make it so that the leather now only ends up on, say, the inner sole or something else? Where do I see my ID map? Could that be in here? No, that's just the Smart Material layer stack. Right click on the leather on the layers tab. Gotcha. Right click. Oh, okay. Hello. What's happened here? Add white black bitmap. Wow. Yeah, so Chris, what happened is I'm basically ready to set up the exciting shoe. I'll show you this in a minute, what it looks like. It's really, really cool. This is just a test project that we're doing. It looks really cool, but of course, Substance has now exported 48 maps that I have to set up for every surface, and that's maybe a little bit time consuming. So we're exploring now a workshop that lets Substance essentially bake all materials to a single map set each, and that's what we're exploring right now. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Wendy. I really appreciate that. It's one of those things, sometimes you don't even know, you can't even type the question into Google of stuff that you need to know. So this is gold. This is really gold. I really appreciate all the time and effort you're taking to let us all know how this works. I don't, Biscuits, no, I don't quite remember. I can probably, I didn't take a screenshot or anything. Do you know, while Wendy is looking, I'm gonna have a look at, in fact, I'm gonna go and save this as a project here. Single matte test. Okay. Right click and add black mask. Gotcha. Add black mask. Okay, now everything is gone. That's correct. I seem to remember now we probably click on the mask and then you pick something exciting. ID view. Yes, right. So these are things that are selectable, I would imagine. But ZBrush got it wrong. I mean, whatever ZBrush did there, this is not the way to do it. Looks good though. That's actually the shader. I'll go back to material here. Right click on the mask icon. Oh my goodness. Add a color selection. Oh, I don't think I can do that. Oh, the mask, sorry, yes, the mask icon. Add a color selection. My God, this is in-depth stuff. Oh, I see. So if I now go and go to what Brian suggested here, if I go to here and then I say with the color picker down here, left click and drag, or maybe not, maybe this, then this, say the purple thing. If in an ideal world this would be a well-designed ID map. If I do this now, that is now the selection I've made. So on that, if I go back to material, that is now the mask. Yes, yes, I get it, I get it, I get it. I get it. Aha. That's a very clever way of doing that. That's a very clever way. So like, if the ID map baking had worked, interesting, Mr. Bond. So ID map, was this the one I chose earlier? No, it's gone. Dang. Yes, I think this is, like you say, this is one of those things, trial and error, and just a lot of testing. Well, hopefully we don't have to use the ID map then. I'm just going to go and save this and show Chris the amazing design we've come up with here earlier. And this is what I've already baked out. So it's I've made it possible that we have pink leather on the outside, yellow kind of different type of leather on the insole, and then we have your rocket on the inside here. I've also painted some dirt on the toes here. That's nice. So as if the shoe on the inside is worn or looks a little bit worn. This is a kind of a softer type material, kind of a cotton material, so that they're more comfortable to wear. And then on the heel, we've decided we're going to use some cork. So that looks exciting. And then at the bottom here, I've also added your logo there. Maybe if I have time, I'll go and put some kind of round text around it, like Chris Labs or something. With the URL to your website. So I'm going to go and this happened thanks to your UV mapping. This happened automatically on both sides, mirrored. So that's kind of cool. I was wondering if I had enabled symmetry there at first, but that's not the case. It was actually because they're sharing, each shoe shares the UV map, so that's quite nice. So let me go and set this up in DAZ Studio with the materials, and then I'll go and do a little turntable animation. And if I can make it happen, then I will send you those files, and then you can play with them and maybe add them to the Ko-fi project if you so desire. This was a great test project. Thank you so much, Wendy and Biscuits and Brian, for anyone who's helped here. I really appreciate that you've all chipped in and taught me the ropes. There's so many more questions I have, so I'm gonna go and keep going with this. I'll see if I wanted to do another 3D stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If not, there's always something like Talos Principle or another kind of exciting video game we can play together. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you hopefully next time, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.